The Nike School Innovation Fund was a very strategic response to some issues that were happening in Nike's home state of Oregon, where I'm a resident and a native Oregonian. So Nike realized back in 2013, we had a horrible graduation rate in Oregon. It was frankly one of the worst in the country. And Nike is the kind of company that hates to lose more than it loves to win. And so they found it frankly unacceptable. So the CEO actually authorized a $9 million fund to fuel excellence in education back in 2014. And I was hired specifically to create an initiative and a fund and to distribute those dollars in a way that leveraged our expertise and the senior leaders at Nike to help schools innovate so that they could improve graduation rates. One of the things that we used to say at Nike was that we had entire teams at Nike focused on the future, whereas in school districts, you don't have that. Teachers are very focused on serving the kids who are coming into their schools every day. And so we need not just an R&D function, research and development. We need people who are trying new things and piloting new best practices on a regular basis so that we can continually improve and create new systems and new practices for the way that we educate our kids. We landed on a strategy that did three things. One, we called it Impact. We supported a best practice program called AVID, which stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. And we supported AVID expansion in schools. That's where all of our money went at Nike to help schools adapt this AVID program. It creates an elective class for kids who were from first generation college going families where they had not, they weren't on track to go to college, and it helped them with the academic skills and the sort of like cultural support that they need to get across the finish line and go to college. The second piece was what we called our innovation work, and that was pairing the executives up with the schools to innovate and then supporting whatever programming needs they needed, which is where a lot of the really fun, innovative work came along. And then the very first experience that we did was a student for a day process. So all of our Nike executives went and spent an entire day as a student in the school that they were matched with. That was followed by a Nike executive for a day that the principals did at Nike to get to know what their business partner was all about and show them around the company and talk about the different resources that we could leverage. And then finally, the third piece of our strategy was inspiration. And the inspiration was about valuing teachers, celebrating the successes that they were having. And that was where all of our money went. At that program itself, we hired two, not one, but two independent evaluators to look at the results. And they showed that just within the first 2 years, the graduation rate in the schools that Nike supported specifically versus schools that did not have AVID, the program we were supporting, those schools had an increase in their graduation of 3 to 1 versus schools without AVID. For kids in poverty, it was 4 to 1. So there was a dramatic change in both the achievement gap and the graduation rate. The research out there was that there are 3 ways to build resiliency for children who are in poverty or have experienced trauma. And those are 1, a relationship, a close relationship, loving relationship with a positive role model adult who can help that child. So another example of one of the programs that we supported with Nike money was a school in our partnership program, and the principal, they realized that they had a lot of problems with their Latino men, boys who were Hispanic were not succeeding in their school. And so they created this peer mentoring program called Hombres de Honor, and it was simply connecting older kids who were role models with younger kids within their school and creating a peer mentoring relationship. The second was having experiences that take that kid outside of their comfort zone and help them build confidence and competence in something. The third was a skill, a confidence, giving kids a feeling of real competency around whatever it is they're passionate about. Denmark is so far ahead in a way of where the United States is in terms of your graduation rates and how many kids are succeeding. What I would say about that is that even though you're further ahead than we are, and maybe because you're further ahead, you need to focus on the individuals. There's a lot of talk about student-centered learning and putting students at the center, and that is 100% the right approach. But to me, what's still missing is that focus on the individual. Secondly, if you participate in these school networks that Raido's creating for you and you visit with others, that cultural exchange experience with other schools helps you see what you're doing in your own school more clearly, which helps you evaluate your assumptions, create new solutions, and identify the right questions to ask. Teachers are in silos, schools are in silos, and we don't share enough beyond our classroom walls or our school walls. And so sharing with each other and being real about where you are succeeding and where you're failing is really important. So leverage this network that Raido is creating for you to be real with each other and learn from each other. Share your failures. It is okay to fail. We all do. The reason I'm in the advisory board is because you guys are ahead of the US in so many ways. And so we want to learn from you, and we want to create the opportunity to learn from each other. I think you have the opportunity to serve every student better and help them all be successful. And I wish you the very best of luck.